Hey everybody, Jen from 30 West here. I'm here today to talk to you a little bit about a very common problem that many of us face while exercising, especially exercising on your hands, and that's wrist pain. And that's something I can relate to as well. As a physical therapist, as well as an instructor, I've heard many people talk about that, and I felt it. So when you're doing a push-up or a plank or anything on your hands and you're feeling that pain, does that mean that something is really wrong or you've injured it? Most likely not. Many times it's because we aren't doing this very often throughout the day. We're doing the opposite. We are texting, we are typing, where wrists are in flexion a lot of the day. We are, what else? Driving, lugging around kids. So that's number one, that we're in that flex position. And number two is we're just not strong enough. And so with that weakness, often can come some irritation or some pain. So I'm here today to give you 3 big steps to help get rid of that pain and get you past that when you're doing those exercises. So the steps, I like to use acronyms. PMS, not what you're thinking. PMS, so preparation of the wrist, modification, and strengthen. Preparation, modification, strengthen. So preparation with moving it. I'm gonna show you some movements I've done to really warm up the wrist before doing exercises like yoga, planks, push-ups, and here we go. So join with me if you'd like. The first one is just simple wrist circles. So I got 4 of them here I'm gonna show you. We got circles, we've got a roller coaster, we've got a pretzel, and the prayer. 2 C's and 2 P's. I guess I like those acronyms. So you're circling kind of clockwise, and then you can reverse it. You can even come out to the sides and do it. So you're just circling through. You can release those hands. Feels nice. And you can even do figure 8s with those circles. So you're just warming up those wrists before you demand something out of them. So we've got the circles. And then also we've got what we call the roller coaster, which I like to do. So I'm just kind of moving back and forth, up and down. It's kind of fun. Kind of a move you could do on a Friday night. So up and down. And then you can even reverse it if you're coordinated enough. I know I got to kind of think about it, but you can see how that wrist is getting some really nice flexion and extension and some really nice preparation. Okay, now the pretzel. You can do these as long as you'd like. So you're going to start here, and then you're going to flip. So you're going to flip the hands and clasp them, and then we're pretzeling up and back. And as you can see with this, you can see my wrists are getting some nice flexion stretch. And they're really getting some good mobility through the elbows as well. When you come to that front, you can even get a little tug into flexion. Coming up, keeping your breathing. So this is the crazy pretzel. And then lastly is the prayer. So a couple ways to do this one. Starting here, coming down, getting that extension, and up. Good. So we're strengthening, or we're stretching, I should say, through those wrists here in that prayer. And then the opposite, you can work the flexion a little bit too, coming up and down, up and down. That one feels a little awkward, but you are moving the wrists. Okay, so that's preparation. That's getting it moving a little bit in that position. I also have a bonus one for you that I like to call the gorilla massage. So you're getting up on your feet. If you're not too grossed out by your hands on your feet, you can actually get your hands underneath your feet here, and you can kind of massage through the hands and kind of warm up the tissues a little bit, being gentle to those hamstrings so you're not standing up too tall here, but you're just, this actually feels really good, you guys. And you're just kind of pressing down and kind of massaging through those hands and through some of those tender points. So that's the gorilla massage. And then lastly here, another way to stretch is on all those 4s, taking those hands, and you can reverse here and working that extension that we don't get enough throughout the day. You're gonna really feel that. If you need to flex your elbows, you can, but you're here, coming back. Oh, I feel that. And you can hold as long as it's comfortable for you as you're kind of prepping through. And then on the reverse of this, you can also put the hands down this way, and then you're working that flexion a little bit, but that's not as important or as specific as you need for working that extension, okay? All right, so that's preparation. That's getting things moving and warmed up before you jump into the activity. Now, you might say, Jen, that's not enough and it still hurts. Then I would say go to the M, that's modify. And I know I've done this and it does feel better. It's easier when you keep that wrist in a neutral position versus into that extended. So what do I mean by that? Well, when you're doing your plank or your push-up, you can go onto your fists. That's option 1. So you can do a fist here. And if that is a little tough or you don't like how that feels, another option, which I've seen and I've done myself, you want to make sure that if your dumbbells are sturdy and they're not rolling everywhere, but you can also use dumbbells and your wrist is in a nice neutral position here. So if I'm here, I've got the dumbbells, and then I can do my push-up and my plank on the dumbbells, okay? Now you'd say, those still don't work for me, Jen. I've got another one for you. So, like I said, often this is because we are not used to being in extension all day long. So give yourself a little break. You can still have your hands down, but you can build up your mat here, and you can take kind of the fatty or the muscly part of your palm here, place it on the mat and fingertips down, and now you're just a little kinder to yourself because you're in some of that flexion. So it's a little easier now to do that push-up or to hold that plank. I know for me that does feel more comfortable than when I'm flat. So those are some ways to really modify. You can try a towel as well and just see how that feels. I've had other folks too, instead of doing the plank on their hands, they just go to the elbows, but that doesn't always solve the push-up part, okay? So we've done preparation, moving, getting everything going. We've got modification, which I just showed you, and then strengthen. So as you work out more and more in this position, your wrists will get stronger, but you could say, Jen, what do I do to catch up, or how can I get them stronger? So one is to just do those positions. One of my favorites, which is a little bit kinder, is actually just like a reverse plank. So maybe I'm here, and maybe I'm here and getting a little bit of that weight on it. And this isn't even a full reverse plank, this is more of a crab. And you're holding it. It's not quite as aggressive as, say, a push-up, but you're keeping those hands down and you're holding that. Or here, strengthening those wrists. One of the most important things with the strengthening is to make sure that we're activating our hands when we're doing it, which is going to help strengthen your hands while you are in that position. So instead of having your hands and just not even thinking about your wrists at all, immediately you can feel irritation. You want to activate through your fingertips. So you want to think about pushing your fingertips into the mat and even maybe creating a little bit of space here in that palm area so that your whole hand is engaged. That is so important and something that I started doing and has made a big difference, especially when I'm doing longer positions like yoga. So try that with me here. So instead of just being real dependent and everything stacked, you're activating through those fingertips, making the whole hand help you and activating through even that core and shoulders. But really thinking about those fingertips helping you out can save you a lot. And then a couple bonus exercises for you. Here's the physical therapist in me, is you can work your finger extensors with a rubber band or even a hair twisty to really work that extension and make yourself even stronger for those positions. So you're opening up and closing like a rubber band, just holding for a couple seconds and back down. This twisty is pretty resistant, so a rubber band might be a little easier for you as you work those extensors. And if you really want to do some isolated wrist work, I like to try to have my forearm supported here, and you can work that wrist extension with some weight. You can even use some soup cans. But as you can see here, I'm letting it come down. I'm extending up, working those forearm muscles, and then slowly coming down, extending up and down. And then on the reverse, I can work the flexors too, which for most of us are a little stronger and they're more used, but you can certainly use those. Not forgetting to breathe, but really those extensors are what needs it most likely the most. Okay, so with those few steps, preparation, modification, and strengthen, I think you'll be on your way for your wrist feeling a lot better during all of your workouts. So thanks for joining me. If you like this video, make sure you subscribe to 30 West Fitness and Rec, comment below, and we'll see you next time. Thanks everybody. Bye-bye.